Salutations, everybody. This is Marcus Liufau, and this is the first episode of Poly Academia. What I'm trying to do with this is make a podcast that's centered around, well, the thought of Poly Academia. The reason why I brought that up was poly meaning many, academia meaning like the institution of academics. I wanted to make education be expanded beyond the classroom, and that poly being many, that there's many ways to being educated, there's many ways to be an academic, and not necessarily formally in institutionalized school. So this is my way of bringing forth, and also poly, myself being a Polynesian, I also wanted to represent us as people, as a Pacific Islander group, to let the world know that there are people that are having discussions, intellectual discussions with people all around. So that's just what I want to do. But first, my first very episode, I want it to be something that's very hot, and a hot topic right now in America, or at least as far as politics go. And this is like a dear friend of mine. I've knew this guy for 2 years now, and man, he's been, as far as my spiritual growth, he's been one of my brothers that I walk with to just help me with my walk of faith. So I just want to introduce to you guys Mr. Fernando Sanchez. So yeah, this is Fernando, everybody. I've met Fernando through the Rock Church. We go to church together here in San Marcos. The Rock Church, if anybody doesn't know, it's one of the biggest churches here in San Diego. And they have 4 branches, I believe. 4? 5. Yeah, five churches. And Pastor Miles is the head pastor. And he's just awesome, man. And, well, yeah, that being said, I met him through church, and we did life together as far as like our spiritual walk. We done PST together. We served together in ministries. He's now the head of young adults ministry now, and I just been very blessed to see this man grow. And so yeah, at least what I wanted to talk about it, or at least introduce yourself and just say a little about yourselves, about of the 1 or 2 people that might be watching. Just say 1 or 2 things about yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Marcus, for that introduction, and I'm excited to be a part of this. And a little bit about myself is currently going to college, Cal State San Marcos. I'm on my last year there, finally, after 6 long years, and currently working part-time. Like you said, right now I'm leading the San Marcos Young Adult Ministry for the Rock Church San Marcos campus. And a little bit of my background is I was born in Mexico City. I came here when I was around 9 years old, here in San Marcos. I grew up here in San Marcos, and yeah, that's basically a quick background about myself.
Nice. Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you for sharing. And so I just wanted to at least get into the questioning, the questions and stuff, because I know you're a DACA student, right? Or DACA, how would you at least classify?
Recipient.
DACA recipient. And so how has it been for you being a DACA recipient?
It's been a true blessing, really. Would you like me to describe what DACA is?
Sure, yeah.
So DACA is basically a form of governmental policy that helps immigrant children that are not U.S. citizens and were brought here by their parents illegally or legally, and then whatever form of documents they had expired, and then they stayed in the country illegally. I like the term undocumented better. But basically what it does, it gives in my opinion, it gives people people who call this country their own home, an ability to give back to their community and just work. So what DACA allows people is it gives them the opportunity to work here legally. So if it weren't for DACA, I wouldn't
Or
be
go school, right?
and go.
Yeah.
Well, here in California, you would be able to go to school and receive financial assistance even without DACA.
Okay. So even within the United States, like, so there's other countries that, other states that don't allow DACA student, like DACA, to be a part of like college.
Yeah. So for example, there are other states where DACA is what helps them go to college. But for here in California, since there's other laws that took into place before that, like AB 540 is like another term
Okay.
that's used for undocumented students. And basically means that you came here when you were a child, you went to school at least 4 years or 3 years in high school, you haven't left the country, and it gives you access to higher education.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, at least, so being a DACA recipient, what are the benefits as far as you receiving, or just like, what are things that you receive from the government as far as that separates you from like an actual U.S. citizen?
Okay. So without DACA, I would basically be here undocumented. I wouldn't be able to work, I guess, legally. I would have to do jobs that I could get cash,
So
or
like under the table type
under
job.
the table, yeah. And so with DACA, they gave us a social security number so we could work with that number. I'm pretty sure it's different from regular numbers, just because my brother was born here and his number looks a little different than mine, just the way it starts. But basically, it can only be used for work authorization purposes. And it gives us legal, what do you call it, like, it protects us from deportation as long as we are covered within the 2-year period. So every time you apply, you have to pay a fee of, now it's $495. You send your paperwork, they run it, if they approve it, they give you that protection for 2 years and work authorization. So with that, I'm able to work, regular
You have to do this
jobs.
process every 2 years.
Every 2 years, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. And, which I think it's reasonable,
Okay.
because it gives you access to
Almost everything in the
everything
US.
else. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
can travel nationwide. Before that, it would be really hard. Like if you travel and you get stopped at a checkpoint, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen to
you
me?
get scared of that, the fear of, yeah.
Yeah. So at least for me, just the benefits, it has allowed me to like work. So right now I work for the state of California, actually,
Yeah.
for a youth program. So it's basically social work where I help at-risk youth. Basically, I help them try to help them continue their
Yeah.
education, like
You're
go
like a
back to
career
school.
coach, in a
Yeah.
sense,
And find employment. So I'm giving back to my community, and I pay my taxes and everything. So it's good. I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and that's another thing. How me and Fernando got me actually a job in YOP. That's what the program is called, Youth Employment Opportunity Program, through EDD, the state of California, and that's how we got closer. Honestly, was through that program. Me and him used to always work together, travel to high schools together, and do presentations, trying to find at-risk youth to help out. But yeah, so. And that being said, what are the pros and cons, at least you see, as a DACA recipient? Talk about the pros first.
For the pros, I would say just the application alone. It gives a lot of money to the government, and it creates a lot of jobs. So imagine $500 basically out of, I don't know how many millions of people apply for it. So that adds up a lot of money that goes, straight to the government or people who are working under that.
Also, the government benefits from you guys contributing to society.
Yeah.
More. Oh, yeah.
So with that, since people are able to work, they're able to pay taxes. So we're working.
I would never think. Wow. So the pros is the government side.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
I
I'm
would say
thinking.
so.
Okay. Well, no, it's just because I was thinking about like, oh, what you think is a pro as your
Oh,
individual
individually.
self. But then no, but then you brought up a unique point where the government. Yeah, you brought up a unique point where the government actually benefits from having you guys too, because every 2 years, it's a $400 $500 application, right? So and there's like millions, almost I would say like a million DACA recipients, almost 100,000 probably.
I think the last number I saw was 800,000 out of. There's more that could apply, but I think 800,000 at least are like for sure applying.
Still, 800,000 times $400 every 2 years. Okay, government. But yeah, so okay, so what's another pro, like individually or just like as a society?
So as a society, I was saying, we're able to work. So then if we're able to work, our paycheck, they take taxes away. So we're giving that money back to the community that can be used for schools, fire department, teachers, whatever it is, cops, military, everything. So we're, I think, stimulating the economy. There's a lot of DACA students who are opening up businesses, who are going to college, so they can go back and working, just work, work, help the economy. And personally, it's just that, because without it, I don't know what I would be doing,
Yeah.
doing landscaping work maybe.
Yeah. And what school you go to? What college?
Cal State San Marcos. Shout out to Cougars.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Nice. Okay, so that's the pro side of it. What do you think the cons are? Like I said, either society or individually as a DACA recipient.
the negative side individually would be, I don't know, like, I mean, obviously, I would say that I have to pay $500 every 2 years, but I think it's like a fair trade right now, because, I'm not a U.S. citizen, but I'm still giving back to my community in a way that if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be able to do it anyways.
So you're still kind of like reaping the benefits of being of a regular U.S. citizen.
Kind of, I can't vote. I can't travel out of the country. So,
Could you travel to like Canada?
no. Yeah. Yeah. So I
Could
can.
you go back to Mexico and come back?
There used to be programs where you had to like apply for it, because you would have to tell them, hey, I'm gonna go there for school purposes, research, or church purposes.
So it has to be related to like a cause or something.
Yeah, but that I think they ended that for the period since Trump took over. So as of right now, it's still going on, but I can only travel nations. And another negative side, I would say, just socially, would be that it doesn't really fix the immigration problem. I think that, I don't know, I think DACA has shown that it's like a pretty good starting point program, that it shows that, we have a lot of like young people, good citizens that, we want to work hard, and we want to give back to our communities in any form of occupation, working in the government, opening up businesses. We don't. I feel that, at least for some conservative views on it, it's like, oh, it's unconstitutional, or people take benefit of it, and they try to, like, we take benefits like from like healthcare and stuff like that. Like, I still don't have access to healthcare because it's only for work purposes. So if I want to go to the doctor, I have to pay like full price for medicines or stuff like that.
So you yourself can't buy like healthcare or anything like that?
I probably can buy like for-profit ones, but like Medicare or Medi-Cal, which are government stuff, I'm not eligible right now.
That's interesting. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. All right. And at least I guess one of the last questions, at least as far as a DACA recipient, what do you think could be done better, or like, yeah, what do you think could be done better to at least fix the process of DACA, or because I know you kind of touched upon that, like, where there's people that's trying to give back to the society, that are like fighting, like earning their hard-earned money, you know what I mean, and then they want to contribute back into the society as U.S. citizens, or try to become U.S. citizens. So, what do you think could be done better for people of DACA?
Yeah. I would say that. I mean, obviously, like I was saying, like, there's good people trying to good things with this opportunity. I'm pretty sure there's bad people who are taking advantage of it somehow. I can't really speak on that because I don't really know. But I would say that it could be like a good starting point to at least kind of like aid our immigration problem, because at least DACA recipients, like, the government has been keeping track of what we're doing. They have access to, like, our documents, personal information, everything. So I think that they can see that they have a lot of, like, talent in this country that they can use if they gave a chance to just even become residents, not even U.S. citizens, just be residents where they can be at peace of, like, not being deported, where they can be at peace of, okay, I can start a family and not be in fear. I know that like hot topic is that, for example, if my parents are undocumented and if I become a resident, then I'm gonna petition for their citizenship. And some people don't like that because it's like it's not fair, I guess, for people who are going through the process of, like, taking a visa, paying for that. Yeah, so I think immigration is a really hard topic, and there's no really one right answer or set answer. I do believe we have to protect our borders for sure. The wall thing or anything like that, I don't really know if it, like, technically it would be a good idea, because you can see that, like, big countries, if you want to protect your border, you want to create your country, you want to create some form of border that you can kind of, like, screen and protect your people. But if it's practical, I don't really know. Taking it from maybe like a biblical perspective is, when Israel would build walls around, their town, their temple, to, protect themselves from the Philistines or anything like that. So I don't see, like, building a wall like a really bad thing. But, like, what's the purpose? Why spend so much money and resources on something that might not be that effective, since you already have natural borders that would make it really difficult for people to maybe cross. But I don't know, like, I think that DACA is kind of like a pretty fair policy right now, because it sucks paying $500, but at the end,
the trade-off is pretty.
Yeah, it's way better, and it keeps me on track with everything. I don't really know what that much bad about it. Just
besides the people taking advantage. And
advantage,
stuff like that,
I'm sure people find their ways, but I don't know. Yeah. It's a good start.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Well, so at least this is just at least a personal question, I guess. So, what is it that you want to do in America, or like, what is it ultimately, at least right now in this point in your life? How do you want to contribute back into the society in a big way, and what do you want to become?
Foremost, I'm almost done with college, so.
With your BA, right?
BA, yeah.
BA in what?
Sociology.
Cool.
So even though I'm taking a career in sociology, I've been really interested in opening my own business or nonprofit organization where want to help the economy and help my community and the members that are around it. So I have a few ideas. One of them is if I can open my own business, I would do that. Hire a few people, give back to my community, and do all of that. In terms of nonprofit, since I have a sociological view on certain things, would be to open a nonprofit where. So I was thinking of homeless people, homeless men, where because I think in San Diego it's kind of like becoming a growing problem with just the cost of living being so high. So just kind of having a program where like you take a few homeless people, you kind of take them through this rehabilitation process, and you have a business within that organization where you can put them to work so they can earn a living, and then their job is to get more people so they can repeat that same process. And then you would do like the rehabilitation process with volunteers and church leaders in the community, because I believe that faith plays a huge part that sometimes psychology or money or even science can't really help with people they're at that point in their life. So it's just kind of like giving back to the community. That's what I want to do, and that's how I would maybe impact my community with the opportunities that this country has given me through higher education and work opportunity.
And do you still kind of want to do? I remember you told me briefly when we was talking. It was like a little while ago, but then you said you want to do something like Pastor Mickey, where he goes around and teaches like PST and kind of like teaches people how to like to just dig deeper into the Word of God and stuff like that. Is that still something you're kind of passionate for?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really proud about this country, that it was, it's whether on debate, but I still think it was really founded on Christian and biblical principles. And it's, a Christian country, more or less. So yeah, like my faith is a very big part of my life, and the PSC program that we're talking about is a pastoral support team. So we help the pastors with their pastoral duties, marriages, funerals, praying for people, going to hospitals, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely just keep spreading the love of Christ and just this, showing people that all the power that they have in Jesus, and share that, apply it to our reality. We still live here, business, school, any career or trade you're doing, and just empower people through His love.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for your time, man. And this was actually the first time I've actually discussed. I knew he was a DACA recipient ever since I met him. He told me about it, but we never really touched upon it. Like I have never really asked him questions about that, because I just thought that was a little too personal. But then, so I just thank him for just being able to be authentic in his way, and just to be able to be vulnerable, and to just open up and share about his experiences as a DACA recipient. So thank you again, man. I do really appreciate you. Thank you for all you do with the young adult ministry in San Marcos, and I've seen it grow, man. I remember when the first time I got there, when Sonny was running it, there's only like 7 of us, so like 7 or 8 of us, and now there's like 30 plus people on a consistent basis, and like, man, that's just a testament to like how Sonny was also a good leader, but how he entrusted you with that, and that transition from him to you was almost seamless, and like I think it was a good choice, a really great choice on him. So thank you for all you do, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Quick shout out, young adults, we meet at church at 7 p.m. Thursday nights. If any of you want to come, we'd love to have you there.
The Rock Church, all right? Just look it up. Jesus. Yeah, thank you all, and yeah, make today be your best, make tomorrow even better. Preach.